All right, how's it going? It's Cole. I'm back with a YouTube video, my first one in a long time, but I felt compelled to talk and post and put myself out there a little bit more. So here I am. Today I wanted to talk about my path and my journey so far, just in life, what I've been up to since high school, pretty much. And there's a lesson that I want to share with you at the end. I've taken you through my journey. I've limited myself to, you can't really see it, but 12 minutes. Oh, 12 minutes. We're going to try and aim to keep this under. So here we go. Um, After high school, I went and I pursued hockey for a couple of years. So I did that. I was in the US doing it, and I wanted to play professionally initially. Play professionally initially. That was my goal. And it didn't work out. COVID came and I went to school for strength and sport conditioning. That was the 2 year program that I was in. And I came out of school coaching, helping to coach a hockey team. I was teaching skills in the nighttime as well, instructing, and and teaching exercise in retirement homes. And I was doing that. And it was good for a while. And then I felt like I wanted to move in a different direction from teaching exercise in retirement homes. And I was uncertain about my pursuit of fitness, personal training, strength and conditioning in general. I was not sure if that was still the path I want to pursue. So I meandered after I quit that job. I'd meandered around doing a couple of odd jobs or different things to make money. I was a logistic coordinator for a charity, which is a fancy title for helping to manage the inventory and equipment that we would hand out to kids. Did some other things with it, but that's the gist. And then I was also helping out at a rink, doing maintenance staff work, that sort of thing. And eventually I came around to thinking about the trades. And so after a while, after thinking about it, helping out here and there with a couple of people under the table, I finally got into a job with someone who wanted to hire me as an electrician. And so I was excited, and I've been there since doing this. And so when I look back, this is the lesson bit. When I look back on how I have where I am, one thing affected the other, right? So pursuing hockey has been a goal since I was a kid when I was playing, and I always wanted to like make the NHL. That's every hockey player's dream, essentially. And so when that stopped, and then I was going to school, I learned about strength and conditioning, which was my next option, the next thing that I was interested in. And so when I got to see the world a little bit with it. Got to be in an exercise or in a retirement home teaching exercise. Doing that, like you get to see the likes and dislikes for that trade, for that profession. And not to say I don't like the profession as a whole. It's just, yeah, I wanted to move in a different direction at that time, and so I did. And so after that, I got to learn a little bit about managing inventory and budgeting and what goes on behind the scenes of a charity, because I had that opportunity as a logistics coordinator, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't quit the previous job, which wouldn't have happened if I didn't go into that profession and find out what it's like to be an exercise instructor. So the point that I'm trying to make with it is that your goal may change, right? The goalposts may change. I've always wanted to plan and know what I'm doing and know what the end goal is before I even start, even with stuff like this with YouTube. But you can't and you won't know for sure what the end result will be before you start. And so just starting, it's a painful lesson, because like there's a lot of time that I've wasted on just trying to think and plan things ahead, but just starting and being involved in something informs the next decision or direction that you want to go into. And so I'm a big Jordan Peterson follower of his work, and so he talks a lot about, or he has talked about directionless and aimlessness and so forth. And so with his clinical practice, he has said that, he's had clients that when they didn't know what to do, he suggests that they pick something, right? Pick a goal, pick a direction, even if how you derive or how you arrive at that goal doesn't have much meaning to you initially. And when you pursue that goal, you will be informed about where you want to go next. Maybe you pick a job or a thing to do and you want to go all in and keep going with it because you feel called to do so. Or you don't like it, and then you can kind of rule that out, right? So process of elimination, so to speak. Um, and so yeah, it's the main thing that I wanted to share is that it's messy and it's not fun thinking about the idea of having to be in something before you can know what the outcome is, right? It's chaotic and stuff, but it's doing, and it's the biggest way I think to make progress and to grow. Is just that doing part and less of the letting go of having to know what the end is or what the end will result in. That's the biggest thing that I've learned, and trust me, I've learned the hard way at times because I've just, like I said, tried to plan ahead so much, but it didn't work out or pan out the way that I thought it would, and rarely does it ever. I look back on how I got this electrical job, and it was through hockey, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't reach out and pursue that coming out of college with the instructing and the coaching, right? Um, and so one thing affects the next, and and that's the lesson. So thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.